everyone, my name is Jaybird and welcome back to Everlasting Summer. Now Chris is dead. He's very, very dead. So dead that you wouldn't have ever thought he was alive in the first place. I'm just kidding. No! I'm just letting everyone know that you're dead this episode. You've been killed off. Until the reboot, apparently. Sometimes you may feel tired not only because of hard work or sad feelings, but also because of fun, joy, and happiness. You may probably even want to continue, but have no energy to, with your soul demanding time to rest and your body asking for calm. I fell asleep with a smile on my face. Are you sure you don't want to come see this? But you'll understand what this is all about, Chris. No, you don't.
Yes, it's basically this guy.
No, Chris. No, you'll understand what's going on here if you come over here. It felt like I hadn't slept at all. It happens all the time. You just close your eyes and fall asleep. The hour hand makes several turns. The morning comes and you wake up, but it feels like you just blinked.
Oh, it's a dream.
Shut up. Just you wait for it. I yawned so wide that I almost broke my jaw and jumped up because of the pain. Something was wrong. Though not something. Everything was wrong. I was back in my apartment. But how can that be possible? Began to panic and I started to run around my room in the hope of calming myself down. Physical tiredness can often overcome an emotional one. My head was empty, fear and terror took over my whole being, and some kind of a song was floating in my mind. Maybe a prayer, or maybe just an incoherent jumble of thoughts designed, if not to calm me down, then at least to distract me from my panic. It was about half an hour before I collapsed on the floor, exhausted, and fixed my eyes on the ceiling. It seems like I had not gone anywhere. The old chandelier looked down at me unkindly with its dusty lamps. The cracks in the plaster were in the same places, and the unstuck wallpaper hadn't slipped down even a little. Was it really a dream? But it can't be. It just can't be. I spent an entire week in that pioneer camp. I was definitely there. I remember everything perfectly from my awakening aboard the bus right up to the departure. Neither dreams nor hallucinations can be that real. Somehow I stood up, went to the kitchen, filled a glass with water, and returned to the room. The blood was still hammering in my temples, but at least the terror of the first few minutes was gone, or had just taken a break. I concentrated on the last thing I remembered. It was the departure from the camp. That night, the bus bouncing over the bumps, the dirty, murky glass beyond which almost nothing was visible, and the pioneers. I'd been absolutely positive that I would never return. Or just didn't think about it. Anyway, I was prepared for a arrival at the district center in a few hours and was already considering options for my further actions. Or not? Damn it! I roared and pulled on my hair with all my strength. Don't do that, you're gonna ruin your hair. I can't remember. The last hours in that world merged into a monotonous mirage, as if a drunken Renoir, I don't know how to say that word, was completing his painting with a roller instead of a brush. But it's not that bad. Wait a minute, why would it be bad? On the contrary, everything is fine. I would even say perfect. I've broken free from that goddamn world and returned home. The most important thing now is not to end up there again. It might happen, surely it could. But it might not happen as well. Indeed, I have nothing to worry about now. Everything will be fine. Obviously, I was just seeing things. Exactly, I was seeing things. It doesn't matter that everything felt that real. If something like that just can't happen. It can't. I claim with all due confidence that it just can't. Modern science claims it's impossible, not allowed. I laughed loudly. Ha ha ha. An inner voice tried to stop a verbal diarrhea spouting from my mouth, but it didn't succeed. It feels like my speech and thoughts were separating to exist on their own, independent from each other. My brain prompted me to calm down and try to analyze the situation, but while my tongue simply tried to ease the stress by throwing new meaningless words out into the air. Finally, I was somehow able to pull myself together. I pulled the curtains open and looked out the window. The night city looked exactly the same as it did a week ago. The view brought my mind back to reality, at least to some extent. After all, if everything is now normal and nothing suspicious or supernatural is happening, then wasn't it just a dream? Ugh. Essentially, there are only two options now. I can agree that it was just a dream and calm down, or I can trust my own feelings and accept that the camp, the bus, and the pioneers were real. Either way, whatever I choose, I won't get any answers. It's funny, I was looking for these answers for a whole week, or at least pretending to, and found nothing. But I broke free from that weird world anyway. And what now? The enigma remains and additional questions have surfaced. In the end, I was exhausted and fell onto the bed. In a few seconds, I was snoring blissfully. Much time has passed from the moment I came back from Sylvianook, and a lot has changed in my life. The first week, I was racking my brains, trying to summarize in detail everything that had happened, creating graphs and diagrams, writing to forums, discussing paranormal phenomena. I even planned to visit a psychic. In the end, it resulted in nothing, just as one would expect. It's no wonder I was just a human being, but these events obviously were the affair of a supreme mind. If a caveman found himself in the early 21st century, even he would understand more than me. Well, at first he would think that a cell phone that transmits someone's speech dozens kilometers away by the will of God is a miracle. But one can get used to it. Maybe if he completed secondary and higher technical education, he would even be able to understand how mobile communications work. It's a basic, exaggerated example, just as unreal as everything I experienced. So I'm unlikely to ever understand how it worked or who was behind it, and I doubt that I could get used to it if it were to happen again. But one question troubled me ever since. Why? Why me? What did I, or did I not, do to deserve this bad or good luck? Sure, in sci-fi novels, wonders can... Sure, in sci-fi novels, wonders often occur to quite ordinary people, but that was just a matter of chance. But I was absolutely positive that these events have occurred for some reason, just like a random sci-fi hero who traveled 1,000 years forward in time, leaving him in the wrong time and place. But in the future, no one knew him. Everyone thought that he was just a madman. But in my situation, they were expecting me at the camp. At least the camp leader was. How should I respond to that? Maybe I was picked out at random to be studied later on? Even so, the question why not only still stands, but rather becomes even more important. After not finding any sufficient explanation, I returned to my usual existence. But now I wasn't just sitting at the computer 24/7, wiping the F5 button free of dust. New interests came into my life, but what they were, I couldn't tell myself. And suddenly I wanted to get a higher education. Not to find a job, and not because it's necessary, just because I remembered how much fun I'd had during the first year of education. Chatting with course mates, days of lighthearted, youthful fun, plenty of the energy that I'd lacked so much over the last few years. A truly great man once said, any man who reads too much and uses his own brain too little falls into lazy habits of thinking. It's hard to argue with that logic. An ordinary man will not sit around because he is lazy, but because a given subject is just of no interest to him. For instance, I'm not interested in knitting, so does it mean that I'm a slacker if I don't make a couple of woolen sweaters per month? But feeling too lazy to open a book, that's something I can understand. Although I like reading, when I start thinking that I have to get through a huge novel page by page, And even if it is interesting, even if it absorbs me so completely that I can't turn away, that part will only come later. For now, all I need to do is get a book. For now, all I need is to get a book from her shelf and open it. But I feel too lazy. I don't know what exactly influenced me, but about a half of my time, instead of the 5 to 10% of it from before, I was occupied with something useful. I read, wrote, studied something new, and engaged in sports. At least I exercised in the morning. Sometimes I thought that it was the influence of the camp. One can't rule out that possibility. For all 7 days there, I was participating in social activities, verbal communication with others in amounts that before would have caused terror and severe introversion in me. On the other hand, it's not so easy to change one's personality. Excuse me? Excuse me? You're supposed to be dead this episode. That's right. That's right. Dead people don't make sound. Dead people just rot. I love you. I will give you permission to say I love you back. Oh. Ooh, someone's not getting laid tonight.
I love you too. Please.
On the other hand, it's not so easy to change one's personality in a single week, especially for someone as stubborn as me. But it is easy to point them in a new direction, show them a guiding line. However, I'd never believed that it would be possible with me. Anyway, I enjoyed these changes so much that I tried not to think about their causes. What the hell, nobody would worry about the why if he managed to hit the jackpot by betting his last pair of trousers. I'm gonna take a sip of iced tea. Cease. I love you. In summer, I re-enrolled at university and studies started in autumn. Time passed, I eagerly attended lectures and seminars and studied for tests and examinations with a level of enthusiasm that I wouldn't have expected from myself. I managed to become a part of the group with surprising ease. Although I was older than most students, it didn't trouble me. Maybe it's because of my natural immaturity or changes in my personality. I didn't know for sure. Most likely the answer is somewhere in the middle. The joy of communicating with people lost many years ago returned. It was easy to get along with others. Their problems didn't seem so distant and trivial to me. Normal life, which before I had considered just a gray, depressing mess, started to shine with new colors. Sometimes it seemed to me that I'd turned into a doll, became one of a billion identical and tin soldiers standing in straight rows on a shelf in a toy shop. But in this shop, apart from the glowing showcase that sparkled with fancy writing describing new seasons, offers, and Christmas discounts, was a storage where all the defective products were thrown: a teddy bear without a paw, a firefighter's truck in need of a mechanic, a transformer who looked more like a microwave than a mighty robot, jigsaw puzzles which assembled into trippy postmodernist pictures. My place used to be among these broken toys, and while some of them could take refuge in charity drives or an orphanage, my only fate was being dumped and recycled again. So I couldn't help enjoying such changes in my life. Whoa! 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 This is new. We're actually in a classroom. You're missing out. What the fuck are you doing? Are you sticking a finger up your butt? What? Thumbnail, leave me alone.
Oh, I thought you were gonna be a thumbnail.
No, Chris, no. I'm talking about the game. Just if you didn't want to participate, then you should just stay quiet. but now it seems like you want to participate, so come over here. Fine, then shush. I love you too, just shush. Oh, I'm already at 15 minutes. I mean, I feel like it's a good place to leave off at, actually. What? No, it's fine. We'll have next episode, because we're not close to the ending yet.
How the hell are we not close to the ending?
Well, we're closer, but we'll probably have the ending next episode. Probably. But this whole university thing is new. I didn't have this before, so this is a new kind of thing. You're not a part of this video, but do you want to say anything? Okay. Alright. Cool. Don't interrupt me for my outro, okay? I already told you this before I started recording. So with that being burped, if you guys enjoyed this episode of Everlasting Summer and would like to see more of this game, then leave a like down below, leave a comment down below, share it with your friends, subscribe if you haven't, ring that notification bell, and remember, die safely. Bye-bye!